this is the #1 movement for freedom of the mind and heart. Let's start a conversation. Hello, my darlings. Welcome to another amazing week here on the Salty and Bright podcast. I am your host, Anna Maria Jinga. Welcome to having so much fun. You guys hear things in the background as I'm recording. It's always so funny when I want to have a bit more quiet time, just me, myself, and my recording, and things just start piling up. I get notifications, I get things that need me. Everything is tugging at us. And it's so aligned with today's topic that I want to dive into because we do feel like that sometimes. We do feel like we're constantly being distracted, constantly being pulled in a million directions. Constantly, we need to do things, but we're frazzled. We know we want to do better, but we don't know where to start. So, this actual topic came to mind when I was sitting in church the other day, and it came to mind in layers. So I will walk you through the layers as well. The main topic of the thing I want to talk to you guys about is to always be prepared. How do we get to show up in our day-to-day life when we're always in a state of, I'm ready for this, whatever this might be? And I have stories to layer all of that. And it goes back to the thing that actually came to mind this past weekend when the topic came to mind was my first. So in Romania in school, you were put in a catalog of names where you would have your grades and everything in there. Now, I don't know how it's kind of a report card, but not necessarily. The main teacher would have all of that and they would carry the catalog with them. Anyway, the catalog was alphabetical. And it wasn't alphabetical by the first name, it was alphabetical by the last name. And my last name, my maiden name is Chapa, which starts with a C. So I was always on the first page by default. I was always on the first page. Most of the time when teachers would call someone out, they would open the first page and that's how it was. You would have the random teacher that would go like, oh, because I know the first page is always prepared, I'll open the last page or I'll go in the middle, but probably 98% of the time, the first page names were the ones that would get all the attention. And that taught me from a very early age that I just need to be on. I just need to be ready for whatever. I just need to either prepare constantly to be ready for the teacher's questions or anything like that, or have a really good excuse for not knowing the answer. But that also came with kind of a burnout that it's always up to me to figure it out. It's always up to me to save the class. It's always up to me to be the one that takes one for the team. But something landed with me this weekend as I remembered that kind of experience in my life, where it also taught me that no matter what goes on in my life, I'm always prepared. I always know how to handle it. I know how to find a solution or ask for help to figure out a solution. But most of the time, I find a solution. I find the answer. And it was because I was indirectly trained to be prepared. And funny how that shows up in the Bible so often, because we were in church when this came to mind, that God always tells us in various formats, be ready. Be ready for whatever comes. Be ready for the life that is bestowed upon you. Be ready for whatever comes to light. Be ready to serve, be ready to appear, be ready to surrender, just simply be present and ready. And that led me, second layer, to the story of the 10 maidens. In the Bible, I believe in the New Testament, there's a story about a bridegroom getting ready for the wedding and he's running late. So we have 10 brides getting ready to welcome the groom, and it gets dark. So they take their lamps, all 10 of them, but only 5 of them take extra oil. So they took the lamps and the oil, the 5 of them, and the rest of them, just the lamps. And as the night gotten longer and the bridegroom wasn't showing up, the lamps were starting to wither away. The oil was shrinking, the oil was being burnt. So they started asking the ones who had the oil, hey, can you give me some? And they said, we won't be able to have for us and you as well. Go to the near town and buy yourself some oil before the bridegroom comes. So they leave, but in the meantime, the groom gets there. And the maidens that were already prepared with the oil were invited to be part of the celebration because they were ready beforehand. And the other ones that went to get ready after, they also wanted to be part of the celebration, but they missed out because the door was closed. So now I get to come and ask you questions. How often have you might have missed actually a thing, a celebration, an opportunity, a chance where if you would have been a little bit more prepared, not a lot, because the bridegroom, but the brides, the maidens didn't have a lot of oil. They just had enough to last them. They just had enough, not more, not less, just, hey, I'll grab some oil to fill up so I am prepared in case I need it. How often have you missed out on something because you weren't fully aligned to be ready for that one thing? I know I have many times in the past. From feeling like I'm not well put together when we went out for whatever dinner, random dinner with a family, and then I met someone that if I would have been better put together, I would have felt more prepared to meet that someone. Or on a trip. First time I remember when we went on the RV trip, I had all sorts of random things with me, but not the simple things that would help us go longer on our drives between stops, such as, hey, pack some snacks that will actually keep you satiated instead of hungry. Pack some cheeses, pack some meats, pack some electrolytes with you so that everything is available without us needing to stop every, 2 hours or every hour or whatever. Those were things that made me realize that if I am just more aware without feeling like I need to constantly be ready for the worst case scenario, this is not the story about that. This is the story about being ready for a good scenario in order to hold it and be of service to it. I'm of service to my family when we're on the road right now, when we're traveling, and I pack a nice little cooler with, some bully sticks, some cheeses, some crackers, some simple snacks, some extra water, some fun little drinks, some electrolytes, some wet wipes for the cats when we travel with them, extra poopy bags whenever they go in the litter so that I can clean up instantly without us needing to stop. I have it. And now the trips are smooth. The trips are simple. The trips don't have a million stops because this happened and that happened and everyone feels frazzled. It's just simple. It gives me peace of mind. It gives my family peace of mind. When I go out for a dinner, I'm not necessarily well put together and fabulous, but I am ready. I'm ready to have a conversation with anyone that comes, and I feel good in my clothes, in my body, in the way that I speak, in the way that I hold myself. I feel content and ready without feeling like it's a competition. The thing about being ready, and it's something that in the Bible we have that mentioned a few times, even Jesus says in Revelation, I will come as a thief in the night. So make sure that you're ready anytime to meet me. Are you ready right now to meet Jesus? To have a conversation with him? To be bowing your knee down and serving him? I don't know if I'm always ready, but mentally I know that I would be grateful to do that, to experience that. I would know how to greet him. I would know how to be there. And as I think of those, I also have more ideas that I could do to better myself, and not just for meeting of Christ, but for all sorts of things, such as simple travels, such as preparing beforehand, such as booking things in advance when I know that it's going to be a busy time so that I don't have to worry about them when the time comes. How simple would our life look like when we would start bringing the oil, when we would start showing up from a place of honoring that we are not just anyone, honoring that us as individuals have something good to offer. Because that, whenever you're not fully prepared, I've also noticed this, and I'll share it with you. Whenever you're not fully prepared, whenever you're leaving things until the last minute, you're pushing things away, you're brushing things under the rug, you're like, I don't care how I look or how I dress or whatever. People can like me or not, I don't care. The I don't care is based directly to your self-worth. You lack self-worth, you lack self-value, you lack putting yourself on a balance space where you know that I deserve to take care of me. I deserve to put myself together. I deserve to plan for things. I deserve to have peace as I'm traveling. I deserve to have a well-spoken vocabulary. I deserve to have peace of mind when I'm out in the world. I deserve to have peace of mind when I'm even recording a podcast, because everything right now, even, let me walk you through this, even in my podcast recording, I'm recording it on Zoom for two reasons. One, it's simple for me. It's simple, it's there, it's available. But two, I have my little AI taking notes for me right now. So it's everything at the end of my recording is already waiting for me to get the description ready, save my title that I probably already talked about throughout the recording, make notes and highlights of the main topics that I can share in social, take note of the questions that I've asked so I can bring them to my audience. Like, hey, these are some of the questions that I talked to in the podcast. Here you go. It's not me needing to constantly listen over and over to make notes. I'm already prepared for it so that I can serve at the highest level and I can bring more good quality content that people can benefit from. The more we show up from a place of preparation, not from a place of over planning from an anxious space, but from a place of casual preparation to give more peace and more comfort and more momentum and more drive and more stability in how we show up. Can you imagine how powerful it will be for you? And I can tell you, for me, it's been fantastic. Imagine how powerful it will be for you when you start showing up more prepared. Now, question for you. When you think of this preparation, from a place of peace, not from a place of anxiety. What are some simple things that you might have? How do I say this? Delayed. What are some simple things that you might have pushed aside that you could have totally benefited from doing just a little bit more? What are some preparations that you've omitted even? What are some steps that you sometimes skip because you just don't want to be bothered? How would you look if you were bothered to take care of you, to take care of the steps, to put things more in perspective, to put things more organized, more aligned, more ready? And it doesn't mean that you have to be so organized and a neat freak that you are restricting your creativity and flow. Far from it. We need to find the balance between the two, because OCD type of organization is not healthy, and neither is je ne sais quoi, that type of flair of I don't want to do and I can't be bothered and I don't want to do anything because I'm just a free flow spirit. Free flow is too uprooted, and you might be lacking self-worth and self-value, and you might detaching yourself from putting down roots because you're afraid of being hurt. And too much OCD type of organization is set in too much need of control, where you're holding on to everything, where you cannot let life and God surprise you with blessings and miracles and things just coming out of nowhere, because you're so caught up in gathering everything and controlling everything and breathing over everything so hard and heavy that you don't let anything breathe. One side has too much breath, one side has no breath. Let's find the middle. What would the middle look like for you? For me, for example, the middle looks like every morning I wake up and I pray. The second I blink my eyes open, I give glory and thanks to God. I literally just open my eyes and I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you for a good night's sleep. Thank you for another day. Thank you for listening to me and being here with me. Thank you. And then I go and do other things. I read my Bible. I go drink some water. I feed the cats. I check my socials, like all of the other things. That hasn't been the case in the past, where I would just open my eyes and go directly to my phone, being like, did someone answer? Did I get an email? Do I have clients? Do I have work? What's my schedule? Like all of that frazzledness. No, thank you. That does horrible reactions in your nervous system. And we love having a regulated nervous system. So I give thanks. First thing, I blink my eyes open in the morning. Another thing is I know my calendar beforehand, and I put boundaries around my calendar so I can serve from a place of I know what's coming. I have space for this and that. I have space for surprises. And at the same time, I have space to control my schedule. It's the balance between let's be surprised, but let's also have direction. That's how I've how I've regulated my nervous system, how I have created more stability in my emotional mastery, how I have created more balance in my overall health, physical health, how I've healed my gut problems, how I've healed my hormonal problems, how I've healed my anxiousness, all of that from preparation of bringing the oil and being in open excitement to receive surprises that come my way and are meant for me. And anything that comes that is not 100% fabulous, I know that I know how to handle it, because mentally I feel everything and anything, and probably because I've gone through a lot of deep, dark, heavy things in my life, that because I've survived them, I know that whatever life brings my way, good or bad, I will be able to solve the situation, find ways to solve the situation, or find someone to solve it for me. Not because I know and put all my faith in me, but because I'm not alone. God will always bring the right people or the right resources or the right funds or the right establishments in my life because I trust Him, because He doesn't want me to hurt, because He has great plans for me. And also because I know my own power as well. It's both God and growth. It's both God bringing in the miracle and me bringing in the experience that He put me through so I know how to handle life. Both God and growth need to align. That's how life feels better. Life feels more aligned. Life feels more attainable and more grounded. So, my loves, question for you this week. What would it look like for you to start bringing the oil? What would it look like for you to start being more prepared? What would it look like for you and for your nervous system to start loving yourself enough to give yourself control over the things that you can control? Love and grace over the things that matter for you. What would it look like for you, and how will your life show up for you when you show up differently, when you show up from that space, when you allow life to not be just so wishy-washy and moving you in so many directions that you don't have control or direction? What would it look like for you to bring the oil? I hope this helps. I really hope this helps, because it has opened up a lot of layers for me to even notice how much I can bring more of the oil, how much I can show up differently. I'm now working again on refining my style, because if you follow me on my Instagram, my handle is I am Anna Jinga. I was talking in a previous post the other week that three of my biggest dreams were when I was a teenager were to be a model, to be a writer, and to be a vet. I wanted to inspire people with my style. I wanted to write amazing words, and I wanted to take care of animals because I loved all of those three things. So it reminded me how much I love to inspire others with my style, with the way I take care of myself, inspire others to know that you can love yourself and put yourself well in a clean space. Not cleanliness from, oh, you're not washed, but from an organized space, a well put space. It builds your nervous system to trust that you know how to take care of you, and it matters. It also matters for me to know that part of my inner therapy is to write. I love to write. I wrote a poem the other day that felt so good to write, and it was so aligned to my soul that it felt like I spoke life back into me. I love taking care of animals, and my cat right now is going through, she's 17, bless her. God has blessed her with so much life and energy, and she has some lumps. It's, whatever. I'm not getting into that because it's not for anyone's opinion to be shared here. She has some lumps. She scratched one of them, so she was starting to clean it too much. So it got inflamed because she's a brat and doesn't know when to stop. So now I get to be the vet for my cat for the past couple of weeks, where I get to clean her little bandages, and she has a nice little onesie on every day. And we do all of that together. Every little thing that, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. It's so funny and loud sometimes. I can barely hear myself, but I love where I live right now. Every little piece of those dreams fill my cup. Being an influencer and a content creator fills my cup and inspires others to follow their dreams. Writing fills my cup and inspires others to just take your words out of your mind and heart and just put them on paper. Because sometimes, most of the time, it resets the nervous system to feel safe. And then, if you're like me and you share some of those words, it will inspire others to be better too. And then, taking care of animals is what I love to do. So, the other question for this week, my loves, is what are some dreams from your childhood or your teenage years or early adulthood that you might have said no to just because they're, not, they don't fit the mold. They don't fit the world's expectations. They don't fit your parents' view over your life or your partner's view over your marriage or your kids' view over what you should be doing or whatever. Family, friends, whatever. What are those dreams that you might have said, I'll pass on this because it's not fully important? Just because it's not important for the world doesn't mean it's not important for you. And it doesn't mean that God didn't put those dreams in your heart for a reason. So just make a note of your dreams. See what comes up for you when you think of your dreams that you might have said no to. Think of both of those questions, my love. Share your answers with me. You know, I love to read them in your comments, in your DMs. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Have a blessed weekend ahead. Enjoy every moment of this beautiful life. And remember, bring the oil, follow that dream, and also stay salty and bright. I love you super much. Bye now.